When I first saw this clip, my heart punched through my ribs. It was one of those home vlogs, cozy, ordinary, and then, for 1 second, it wasn't. I'll keep this short because the footage does the heavy lifting. A young woman, small apartment, folding laundry and talking into the camera. She laughs at something off screen. She doesn't know she's being watched. At 0:32, the comments light up. Pause at 32. She pauses. I paused. The door to her bedroom is ajar, and for a breath less than a second you see a face. Not peeking, not a shadow. A face, clear enough to make your stomach flip. Dull eyes, pale, unblinking. She lives alone. She posts the clip asking if anyone else sees it. People speculate friend prank, CGI, deepfake. She posts a higher resolution version. The man's face is there, in the same spot, static as if he's been carved into the doorway. She calls the police. They search, comb every room, check the vents. Nothing. Then, a week later, someone finds a small crawl space behind a wardrobe panel in her bedroom. It's been opened and resealed clumsily. Inside, a cot, a blanket, a crude mattress. Empty food containers. A charger connected to the wall. A toothbrush. A makeshift den. The timeline on her security camera shows the man entering late at night, disappearing into the panel, and then standing very still behind the door while she filmed. What breaks me is that the man didn't move. The footage doesn't show him leaving. It shows him watching. They check the apartment again. This time, there are fresh footprints on the mattress. Fresh cigarette ash. A note tucked under the mattress with dates. Dates coincide with the nights she uploaded videos. He was there when she slept, when she streamed, when she smiled for the camera. She moves out that month. Her channel posts once more, a shaky voice memo saying she's safe. Then silence. And whenever I watch someone make a cozy late-night video, I find myself scanning the doorway. I don't want to, but I do. This clip looks like it was ripped from a nightmare. The kind that stays when you wake up too quickly. A group of friends, I'm picturing rooftop kids, cheap flashlights. Bravado decide to test an urban legend, an old municipal tunnel outside town. They film their steps, raconteur banter, jokes about ghosts. It's all bravado until the echo changes and someone hums under their breath. They jog deeper. The camera catches a pale shape sitting cross-legged on the concrete where the tunnel narrows. A girl. White dress, hair wet or matted, head bowed like someone who'd been praying. She is humming soft, a lullaby that warps in the tunnel acoustics. One of them whispers, "Hey." She doesn't answer. He steps closer. The flashlight's beam hits her face. Her eyes roll up, but they're wrong. Too glossy, too fixed, like polished stones. She stands in a way that is not natural. Her joints seem to move in the wrong rhythm. When she turns slowly toward the camera, her mouth curls not quite a smile, more like a reaction to light. They laugh nervously and shove the camera forward, trying to make a joke of it. The camera shakes more than their laughter. Then she moves. It's a small step, but the sound it makes on the concrete is like fingernails scraping tile. Someone screams. One of the boys runs into the wall and catches his foot on a sump grate. He falls and drops the camera. For 20 terrifying seconds, the footage is a spinning blur of concrete and flashlight beams. You hear them run, the breath coming hard. When the camera rights itself, she's standing in the distance at the mouth of the tunnel, very still, as if she's been waiting for them to leave. They went back with the police the next day. No tracks lead to the spot. No trash, no discarded clothing. Just the faint smell of something old and sweet. The jaded cop who went with them later told the boys he'd never seen anything like the pale marks on the concrete, like nails dragged in a deliberate, slow pattern. I watched the clip and think, they found her because they were looking. But what if she was waiting for someone who wasn't fleeing? This one made my throat tighten for reasons I couldn't immediately name. A business owner sets a camera because chairs keep moving. He gets something else entirely. A small family restaurant, always empty at 3 in the morning. The owner, tired of finding chairs rearranged, installs a camera to catch whatever's doing it. At 2:48 a.m., one chair slides out. The owner rewinds. Nothing visible. At 3:10, something like a dark smear moves across the dining room, no legs. No torso, just a shadow that rolls as if riding a current. It passes through the glow of the exit sign and disappears into the kitchen. Then the freezer door opens. Nothing human walks through. But the sensor's audio sensors left active by accident pick up a low, wet inhale. A sound that isn't a rat, isn't a machine. It is the sound of something tasting the air. The footage makes me feel something under my skin. You can see particles in the light, things that don't belong. And then, in the reflection on the stainless steel counter, for a half second, a face too elongated, too thin presses near the glass. Equipment malfunctions begin. Fridges die. An employee who stayed overnight swears he heard someone humming behind the walk-in. He crawled in expecting a prank. He found boot prints in the Frost Impossible prints. They were like simian tracks, but human-sized. He left without his car. The owner handed me the clip. He closed the restaurant 3 months later, sold the building at a loss. I can't watch that footage with the sound up. There's a breathing in it that feels like it wants permission. This one hits close to home because it could be anywhere. A whisper in the ceiling, a shadow in the crawl space. A university student posts a short video about the sounds in her apartment, soft tapping, like fingernails running across drywall. She jokes about ghosts. Then, one night, the tapping says her name. She records it because she thinks she'll catch a prank on camera. In the clip, the plaster above the bookshelf shudders, a faint scraping. A voice, thin and childlike, whispers, "Come up." She complains to the landlord. Maintenance opens an access panel in the ceiling between units. They shine their flashlights in and find footprints dusted in a thin layer of old insulation. There's a sleeping bag, and someone has carved dates into the joist, dates that match nights she was home alone. She posts the footage. The comments section tears itself apart. Some people say hoax. Others recognize a pattern, stories of people living in crawl spaces, watching. A few users track down an old tenant registry and find a name crossed out in 1987. No one knows what happened to the person tied to that name. One night, she wakes to the sound of breathing at her ear. Her phone shows a notification. Front door unlocked. Security footage shows the door open for 30 seconds. Nothing walks through. But the interior cam in her room catches a shadow cross the curtain, like someone slipping a hand through. She moved the next day. I don't blame her. It's one thing to hear a noise. It's another to have the house answer back. I want you to notice something. After watching 4 of these, you start to feel a pattern. Not the things themselves, but how we react. We question the authenticity. We look for a trick. We make jokes because fear is heavy. But the challenge is this. The internet makes it easy to dismiss the terrifying as staged. Yet some footage refuses to be explained away. Some clips have that accidental clarity, tiny, absurd details that no director would risk. And you know what? That's when it gets dangerous. Because convincing details breeds certainty, and certainty makes people less careful. Less careful invites repetition. All right, breathe. We go back in. I don't think anything will ever unnerve me like something small and domestic crossing into the uncanny. Babies make everything sacred, and that's why this clip hurts. A couple uploads footage from a baby monitor after a string of strange noises. Middle of the night hums, the monitor picking up whispering that vanishes when they check the crib. The monitor records at 3:23 a.m. The baby sleeps, blanket tucked. A slow, pale hand appears from the left edge of the frame, fingers splayed and gentle. It rests on the baby's blanket, smoothing it, like a tired parent settling a child. The couple runs into the room. The bed is empty of anyone but the child. The baby is smiling in its sleep, content. The blanket is warm where the hand had rested, warmer than the air. They check the vent, the crawl space, the photos. Nothing. They toss the monitor in the trash and hire someone to sweep their house. The sweeper finds hair caught in the vent that isn't theirs, and the fibers are old. Older than the baby. Older than the house. One night later, the mother wakes to the sense of being watched and stumbles to the crib. The child gurgles, oblivious. She hears a whisper under the hum of the city. Soft. The hairs on her neck stand up. She slaps the light on. Nothing. The house is empty, but something shifted the baby's blanket, tucked it tighter, as if tucking in a small person. They left the house a week later and sold most of their furniture. They never posted again. The video lives on, small and quiet. And every time I see it, I wonder what a hand that tender used to hold. I was trained to trust motion. But this clip taught me something else, that stalking can be patient. A man runs the woods at dawn with a GoPro. He's training, light steps, breathing steady. The forest is thin with early sun. At first it's just birds and wind. Then he slows to tie his shoe. Camera fixed on the ground. He notices movement out of the corner of his lens, a figure peeking from behind a sapling, all in shadow. Tall, narrow shoulders. The figure watches him, not hiding very well, but frozen when he turns. He runs again. For a while it's gone. Then, when he glances back, there's that silhouette crossing between the trees in perfect rhythm with his steps. It doesn't dash. It mirrors. Every time he increases pace, it does too. The footage has that unbearable close-up where the runner breathes hard and the camera barely catches a glint like eyes that reflect nothing but coal. When he slows to a walk and looks straight at the figure, it vanishes in the underbrush like a seam being pulled closed. He stops to call out. The figure steps forward slowly. And for the first time you see it move in a way that's not human, elongated limbs folding in sections, a gait that suggests more joints than should exist. The runner takes off, full sprint, heart pounding. His tracks show he sprinted 1 kilometer in minutes. He drives to town, posts the footage, and warns others to stay out of that grove at dawn. He never ran that trail again. He swore the camera battery drained faster than it should on nights. He kept checking the footage. The clip ends with a static frame, the camera lying at his feet, lens cracked, and a smear of something dark on the side that looks eerily like a handprint. I've seen live streams end awkwardly. I have not seen one end like this. A streamer goes live late, casual, hair back, a mug by her elbow. Chat pops with the usual nonsense. Then, someone types, "Is someone behind you?" She laughs and pans nothing. The chat grows frantic. People start zooming in small screens, quick fingers. Then someone types, "Check under your bed." She jokes. Nervous chuckle. Then a sudden flurry in chat. "Stop moving." "Wait." Her smile falters. It's only in rewatching that you notice the motion. a hand inching out from beneath her bed and dragging across the frame like a fish. It's quick, but dozens of viewers caught it. Someone in the chat says they can see toes. Another says it looks like hair. She stands up, camera on her table, and the room behind her is empty. She turns the camera toward the bed. For a sliver of time, you see something in outline, low, crawling. She gasps, the sound small and real. The stream cuts to black for a single second. It comes back with only audio scrambling, a muffled shout, and then the sound of someone dragging the camera across the floor. The feed dies. Her friends call her. The door is locked from the inside. Her phone rings in the hallway for hours. She moves out the next day. She refuses to live stream again. The clip re-uploads in fragments. People make jokes. Some say staged. But the way her laugh breaks when she notices something is honest. That small, cracked laugh that says someone has taken the night and you are not supposed to. This one is the last and the quietest. It's the kind of clip that ends and leaves you listening to the world. Hikers find a modern phone under a birch tree 2 miles off any trail. Battery low, camera app open. The timestamp says the clip started at 7:01 p.m. The video is 11 seconds. Heavy breathing. Branches snapping close. A low scraping sound like claws or a branch being dragged. The camera turns a blurred rush through trees, and for a single frame, a tall shape crosses the lens. Too tall to be human. Limbs moving in an odd syncopation. The phone drops. They hand the phone to the authorities. The owner's name appears in a missing persons forum, someone who left home the day before to clear his head and never returned. His last location ping came from the area where they found the phone. Searchers combed the woods for days. They found a crushed patch of undergrowth and a smear of dried blood on a rock. No body. No more clues. In the clip, right before the camera tilts down, you can almost make out a silhouette like the negative of a person tall, thin, reaching. It's not an animal. The whistle of wind recorded on the audio track is unnatural, as if the trees themselves are sucking air. I watch it, and I imagine the person holding the phone in those last seconds, how breath turned to panic, how the mind makes immediate sense of darkness. The clip ends with silence. The silence is worse than the noise.